Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Geek. Stephen Moffat defends the timeless children in a Radio Times article, which I've put up on the Irish Geek channel. If you haven't looked at it, please do. But I just wanted to give me thoughts. I'm not going to be on long. I'm just going to do a short thing. I'm not going to be ranting. I'm not going to be raving. I'm just going to basically tell you all what I'm thinking right now. So, when Stephen Moffat did the second short story, and it was for Jodie Whittaker, I came out and did a video, and I basically said that Stephen Moffat had betrayed the fans and was basically a traitor. Now, I've had many people say to me that maybe you're looking at it the wrong way. I just had someone even today tell me, no, Moffat lies. He has a habit of trolling the fans. Well, I'm sorry, just trolling the fans, and then there's this. And this has gone too far, in my opinion. Then I've had other people say to me, well, it could be the fact that he's trying to get Series 2 of Dracula. So that makes it even worse. You mean to tell me he's willing to come out, defend this children's story arc, just so he can get Season 2 of Dracula on the screen? Right? This is what I don't get. Right? Where's his pride in his work? You know what I mean? You're just going to sell your soul. That's it. Because that's what it's basically like. You're selling your soul to the devil so you can have your pie and eat it. And I'm sorry, that doesn't sit with me. This is absolutely disgraceful. Moffat coming out and actually writing this. And basically saying, making the same points as all the other people that are running the show now have made, that while they're in charge, canon is not really, it's not set in stone sort of thing. And that, like the rest of them, Moffat has tried to give some examples. And, I mean, look, here's where I stand. If you're okay that forget about the whole canon issue anyway right now, right? I mean, it can be disputed, and people have disputed it with their videos, right? So we don't need to get into that same old argument about canon. If fans are okay with the fact, and if Stephen Moffat is okay with the fact that it's now canon that the Time Lords were founded on the experimentation of a child and the murder of a child, well, then I would have to question those people. And that's exactly what's happened here, right? This is what Moffat is defending. So I stand by what I said the first time. He is a traitor. He has stabbed the fans in the back. I do not believe this is him trolling the fans. If it is, it's not very nice. This is probably the worst thing that he's done. If it's the excuse that he's trying to get Dracula Series 2, well then again, that is even worse in my opinion, because he's willing to say that anything goes just so he can get his own show on the TV. And Moffat did bend canon in his time, but he never absolutely broke it. And now, he's endorsing someone just absolutely breaking the canon. Moffat wouldn't even do this himself, right? So this is why I know, right? This is why I know he's a traitor. Because there's no way, because even during his own time, he'd bend it a little bit, but he'd never snap it because he knew not to go too far. He even said so in previous interviews. There was always a limit. Do you remember that interview where he was talking about that there was always a limit to where you could go, that there were certain places that you didn't go in canon. And now all of a sudden he's coming out and defending this? I'm sorry. I just find this all hard to believe. And I don't believe he's trolling the fans at all. And if he is, this is probably the worst thing that he's done, because it's absolutely disgraceful in my opinion. And it is. It's right now. Fans are angry. Some of the general public have walked away. The show hardly has an audience, and then he's coming out and trolling the fans. Well, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable either. So either way, this is not looking good for Moffat. It's not acceptable. He shouldn't be trolling fans if that's the case. He shouldn't be saying this just because he wants to get his show back on the TV. And then there's an article, another headline, where it says Moffat won't be tempted back to write Doctor Who because he's run out of ideas, but it didn't stop him from writing 2 short stories. You know what I mean? I just, no. You know, I said that once Moffat comes out, that's it, it's game over. And it's game over, as I said. There's nothing. Look, the thing about it is, the more we make a stink, the more BBC are going to roll out these people. And remember, Moffat is not the only one. We've got a few. I've even been blocked by a former Doctor Who writer in Paul Cornell. Many others that follow me have also been blocked by Paul Cornell. And all I said was because he asked everybody's opinion on the Timeless Children. So he asked that question, right? And here's the thing: if you don't want to hear someone's answer, well, then you don't ask the question. So I basically said to him, I didn't think that this was a good idea. That changing the law of the Time Lords was not the best thing to do. And then before you know it, I'm blocked, and many other people are blocked. That is not how you treat fans of this show. But time and time again, we see it. And the reason why the BBC rolled out Moffat anyway is because he's a big gun, and, you know, fans sit up and listen to what he says. Sure, you've seen in the recent tweet-alongs how popular he was. Even with me, I was delighted to see him back, I'm not going to lie. This was before all this nonsense coming out of his mouth. He gave the fans some hope, and now he's just taking it away. And even if this is him trolling the fans, he's taking that away right now when the fans need Stephen Moffat the most, right? Now, briefly, because I want to stick to the subject, but briefly I just want to talk about Jodie Whittaker. Obviously did another video, and I've said that, you know, some people some people are not happy that she's doing these videos. Don't get me wrong, I think she should be doing a lot more within the but I don't disagree with the message that she has been conveying to fans. There's some fans saying that she's preaching to fans. Listen, we have the politicians telling us this, right? We have other celebrities telling us this. Jodie Whittaker is the Doctor, whether we like it or not. So, you know, as the head of Doctor, he is the current Doctor. So her actually coming out with messages like this, I have no problem with. I just wish she'd stop with our body language, because it's all over the place. She looks like she has a bee in her bonnet, to be quite honest with you. But the message, I cannot say anything about the message that she's trying to convey, to be honest with you. And, you know there's a lot of anger out there with the fans. And look, she's not my favourite person. She never will be. But at the end of the day, there's time and a place to pick your battles, and I don't think this is one of them. That's why no other YouTuber has actually come out to criticize these videos, because for the simple fact is she's actually putting out a very important message, and I have no problem with that very important message. So getting back to Moffat anyway, though. This is not good for Moffat whatsoever. I'm sorry. My gut instinct told me straight away when he did that story for Jodie Whittaker, that was it. It was game over. And the Radio Times article now is basically after confirming that, because the words have come out of his own mouth. He's done an interview, and basically, during the interview as well, the reporter says he was laughing. He was laughing. Who's to say what's canon and what's not? He laughed. So I mean, and the article was by Hugh Fullerton, who's not everybody's popular person in the Radio Times. Us fans especially, he's had a go. So I'm sorry, he came out, he defended it, and it's as I said, it's very sad. And even if he was trolling fans, this is very bad. I don't think this is the kind of behavior that we need right now. He needs to be sending out positive vibes to those fans, giving us fans hope that Doctor Who can at least, or reassure us that Doctor Who will be okay, give us words of encouragement. But no, if he has decided to troll fans, this is bad. But I don't actually think that. If it isn't doing this because he wants to get Dracula Series 2 commissioned, well then again, this is even lower, because it goes to show you that he's willing to let BBC destroy canon of Doctor Who just so he can get his own show on the air, which means then he's selfish. And I'm sorry. So either way, which way you look at this, the words have come out of his mouth. He has defended the timeless children, and that's it. What can you do? What can you do? And BBC will roll him out again. I knew there was something about these tweet-alongs. They tried to make it out that it was a fan thing, and it probably did start out as a fan thing, but I know for a fact BBC have roped in all these other people to try. I knew there was something about these things. I knew. I just had a gut instinct, like I did last year on a lot of things as well. Should always go with your gut instinct, as they say. But I value other people's opinions, and I do listen to other people. But in this case, I should have went with me gut. I knew once he came out with that story. And listen, yes, everybody has praised the story. Some haven't, obviously, but most have praised this story. But yeah, he comes out and says that he's ran out of ideas and that he won't be tempted back to Doctor Who. Which was an interesting comment in itself, because he would be aware, just like the BBC is aware, that fans are upset with this era. And Stephen Moffat's name, especially when he came back onto Twitter, Stephen Moffat's name by me and a lot of others was bandied about. And it is an interesting little part of it. To be honest, but yeah, to say that you've ran out of ideas but you wrote 2 short stories, I mean, come on. I just don't know. Well, guys, I don't know what you all think. Do you agree with me? Do you think Stephen Moffat now, that's it? I think he's shown his cards, to be honest. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with some other people that say that he might be trolling fans? Let me know what you think. Or as some others have suggested, he's only doing this because he works for the BBC and he wants to get Dracula Series 2 commissioned. Do you agree with those fans? Let me know. For me, as I said, as soon as he came out and wrote that short story, I said it at the time, that was Stephen Moffat defending this era, and he's actually at the coming out now. Hugh Fullerton did an interview with him, and now it's at the coming out of the horse's mouth, and it's very, very disappointing. I'm disappointed right now. If Moffat had come out and said something, then it would have changed. But the fact that he's actually come out now and defended this means, the BBC are going to continue. Series 13's going the same route. I have a video coming up about Series 13. A former writer who has written two of the worst episodes of this era is going to return for Series 13. So I'll have that video up tomorrow. That's Ed Heim. He's coming back. He wrote "It Takes You Away" and "Orphan 55," and Chris Chibnall, because he's a clown, because he hasn't got a clue well, he does have a clue, but he's going to continue anyway. BBC are backing him. Ed Heim is coming back to write an episode for Series 13. So we got two of the worst episodes from this person, Ed Heim, and now we're about to get a third episode in Series 13. It's an absolute joke, but this just goes to show you the BBC are not going to change the course. Chris Chibnall is not going to be deterred in any way, shape, or form. Right? So this whole timeless children thing is going to carry on into Series 13, because he said in an interview when Series 12, just before Series 12 came out, he came out with a law that in Series 12, not everything would be resolved with the timeless children, that it will carry on into Series 13. And it looks exactly like that's what he's doing. The BBC, Chris Chibnall, are not backing down. And now they've got the support of others like Paul Cornell, as I said, Stephen Moffat, and others. And of course, all of those people on Twitter, the very few fans that the BBC seem to listen to on Twitter, all of those idiots as well. And it's sad. It's sad. This show used to be groundbreaking. This show used to be highly entertaining. This show would make us laugh, cry, would terrify us. Now it's become a complete, utter piece of PC propaganda that preaches to its audience. Now, I didn't have a go at anybody on Facebook, but there was a thread that went up, and there was people commenting to some person that didn't like the show. And I'm not saying they were bullying them, but once one person negative, all of them that support this fly in. So I ended the conversation straight away. I gave examples of their preachy nature. I talked about the climate change. I talked about the fact that most of their merchandise is made of plastic, but they tell us that plastic is dangerous. Also, climate change, but they're flying all over the world. I gave examples like that, and then they asked me about the rest of the agenda, and I says, well, I said, look, if you can't actually put on Series 12 and not notice it hitting you in the face, because it hits you in the face, you compare Series 11 and 12 to other eras of Doctor Who, where Moffat and RTD, up to a certain point, introduced different varieties of characters, but didn't shoehorn them in, actually gave them decent character arcs and story arcs. Then you look at the way they do it in Series 11 and 12. They introduce all of these different nationalities to Doctor Who, but yeah, most of them only get at least 5 minutes on screen, or they're killed off horribly some way. They're just shoehorned in. The agenda is clear to see. And listen, I know why these questions are asked. You try to bait us fans into this so you can come out and call us racist and homophobic and sexist and all this, right? I'm not getting into that argument with you anymore, right? At the end of the day, Series 11 and 12 are two perfect propaganda pieces of woke and PC agenda, right? It's so obvious. It's in your face. It's in your face. These characters are not being picked on merit. They're not being picked because of their acting ability. They're picked because of their race or their sexual orientation or their ideology, right? And that's where the agenda comes from. If they were picked on merit, we'd have no problem. I've been watching Classic Who, and I've seen characters from different nationalities, and they've actually had their decent character arcs and decent story arcs. They haven't in Series 11 and 12, right? So I'm not getting into this argument anymore. You just have to look at it, right? But if you're okay, as I said, and I'll say this to fans, and this is how I'll leave it, and this is what Stephen Moffat is okay with, right, as well. If you're okay with the fact that the formation of the Time Lords came about because a woman, a Gallifreyan woman, who found a child abandoned, brought the child back to Gallifrey. Remember that. Now, she did look after the child, in fairness, until the child had an accident. It was pushed off a cliff by a little white boy, because we can't have we can't have what was it? You can't. You have to have the little white boy knock the little girl off, because all white males are toxic, right? Anyway, so she falls and she dies, right? So she brings her back to the lab, but the child regenerates, and then this Gallifreyan then says, "Wow, I need that power." So then starts experimenting and murdering the child, and that's how the foundation of the Time Lords came about. If fans are okay with that, right? Because I'm not, right? And there's a lot of other fans that are, right? I don't care, right? What when the current showrunner comes in, if this is his idea, it's the wrong idea. It's as simple as that. There's just certain places you do not go, and this is where Chris Chibnall got it wrong. Okay, you do not go near the foundation of the Time Lords or try meddle with that, and that's exactly what he's done. So the foundation of the Time Lords was created because a woman murdered and experimented on a child. So congratulations, Stephen Moffat. Congratulations, Paul Cornell. Congratulations, Chris Chibnall, and all your writing team. This is what you and others have defended and written, and it's totally disgusting. It's disgusting, right? Belittling a show that has a rich history like that is absolutely disgusting, right? And whether he's trolling the fans or trying to get his show back on the air, Moffat, or whatever it is, right? I don't care. It's an absolute disgrace that he's coming out and defending this. If anything, he should come out against it. He should come out against it. I don't care. Look, at Stephen Moffat will always get work. That's the thing. And I'm sorry, I disagree with those others. Well, he has to toe the line. Stephen Moffat would get a job anywhere. There'd be loads of bloody companies that would pick him up. So I don't buy that, right? So no, I just don't know what to say anymore. But it's absolutely disgusting. Listen, folks, as I said, let me know what you all think. What else? I will be back on Sunday. Hopefully we'll be back on the TARDIS Zone. We will be still doing watch-alongs on this channel. As I said, we're going to do some movies and other TV shows, and we're going to have other panels about other stuff on that as well. And we'll be back on the TARDIS Zone. I'll be back on it again. Remember, all of these videos here and all of these live streams that I've done about Doctor Who will be going back up on the TARDIS Zone as well. So if you have actually missed any of them, you'll be able to watch them all over again. So listen, folks, enjoy your day. Now, it's a nice day here in Ireland, and it's probably nice wherever you are. Just do me a favor, because there's a few people out there that have decided, because it's nice, they're going to flaunt the old rules that have been put in place to protect us all. So listen, I know if you have a back garden, or front garden even, sit out there, get a bit of air, read a book or something, do whatever it does to relax you, yeah? But please don't be out in the streets. Please don't be out on beaches or anything like that, or parks. You know what I mean? There's a lot of selfish people out there, and I can't believe it. Right now as I'm speaking, there's people dying. And that's the reality, the situation right now. So please, look after yourselves, stay safe, wash your hands, as I said, and observe the social distancing rules. If you have to go to the shop, as I said, but listen, look after yourselves, and as I said, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Have a good one.